Welcome everybody to meeting of the Board of Directors, the Mayor's come to advance New York City. This is a brief meeting scheduled for 30 minutes. On our agenda, we have approval of the Board of Directors meeting minutes from our previous meeting on October 17th, and then we'll have a discussion about the application of the University Administrative. So if you look at your packets, on page 3, you'll see from our meeting minutes from October. Please review. I also just want to acknowledge we received regrets from Dawn Pinnock. She's not able to attend. We do have a quorum with 3 directors present.
Move to approve the minutes.
Minutes are approved. So I'm going to pass these over to our chair to get us into the session.
Thank you. Thanks for session. Good morning, and thanks to the board for being with us today. I wanted to engage in a conversation about how we are applying our admin fee and the level of the admin fee. We have received requests to have that amended to possibly to go back to the number that was used and applied before the June 6, 2023 meeting, where it was changed to 12%. We also, in the interest of making it more attractive for our partners to partner with us and to bring more funds to the fund, I think it'd be important for us to have a discussion about where the admin fee is down and where I would think is an appropriate number for it to stand. And if you vote, it should be 12, it should be 12, and we move forward. But thinking about adjustment. And that is sort of the sole purpose of today's meeting.
I would like to put on the record a email. So according to our current contract, effective July 1, 2023 to June 30th, 2024, which is between the Mayor's Fund, New York City, and the City of New York, sole authority to waive or reduce the retainage, which is the administrative fee, lies solely with the President, which is the Executive Director. It's stated as such on page 10 of the contract, which is here for reference. The section reads, notwithstanding the provisions of this section 3.04, the corporation may waive or reduce retainage in specific instances in the state of funds from particular source. The President determines that it is advantageous to waive or reduce retainage in order to secure such funds. If you all will recall, we renewed our contract last June. There was an amendment to increase the admin fee from the retainage, as stated in the contract. The original cap was 8%. We amended the contract with the city to have a new cap of 15%. And because retainage is section of our city contract, and the contracts must get approved by the board, we needed to have this discussion at the board level, and thus submit and present a resolution for board approval to adjust the admin fee, which 2 present members approved of to increase its $12. I'd also like to round us as we have this conversation and a couple of ideas. So it is our shared responsibility as directors, officers of the board, to make decisions that are in the best interest of operation and sustainability of our organization as directors, officers of the board. As we move through this discussion, it's critical that we all sit squarely in our mayor's fund boards as directors and officers, and our shared fiduciary responsibilities. Critical among these duties is our duty of loyalty, which requires that we place the interests of the organization and our own interests at all.
What's the implication
Um,
that come? Do you feel that some board members, possibly including me, are not? Are
I think,
are not being loyal in terms of just exercising the normal discretion that a board member has? Profit.
so this grounding is not an accusation, it's a reminder. We have a 7-seat board
Mhm.
that currently has 4 members, all of whom are appointed by the mayor, including, so you all occupy 2 seats, right? When we're in these meetings, you wear your hat as the director for them. When you are not in these meetings, right, you also occupy a seat as the mayor is in the city, it's also there, right? Who is our client? Funds miles, the city of New York, that's what provides their services. Commissioners of agencies to whom fund provides a set of services. And so
And that's why I went to
So
the
you-
conflict of interest board and got specific.
understood. And, but I think in practical application, there has to be a reorientation as we move through different conversations, just a reorientation, like, this is a habit. And I'll use an example, if you don't mind, Lorraine. So the mayor's fund works with MLC Aging, we're starting a relationship, which is really exciting. The Aging in New York Fund is dissolving, and so we are partnering with MLC Aging. In her role as commissioner, Commissioner Cortez Vasquez and I had a number of conversations about the shape of that relationship. We also have conversations about, executive director and director of the board. And I very intentionally will say, I'm speaking to you in your role as commissioner, or I'm speaking to you in your role as director. Those, and it's not an accusation, it's just a reminder. It's just a reminder. And it's an expression of the perspective I'm approaching conversation from, and the invitation of how I like the other person.
And I started my remarks, some of the points I made was to, the idea of having a discussion about the major fund for the fee is to make it so more attractive for our partners to continue partnership with us and look at what happened in 2023 and that we don't have a repeated history in 2024 in terms of the amount of fund that we were able to attract to the major.
That implies that the administrative fee is deterrent, which we don't. Our admin fee has been set at 12%.
If we not go to the substance of the meeting, I really want to stay on the comment about loyalty of oath and clarity of purpose, right? I think, so if you wanted to ground us, I think that grounded us, but not in the way you intended. I mean, it didn't ground me in the way you intended it to. If anything, it made me think of what's going on here. Is there something going on here that's not a pattern? I am quite clear of the dual and multiple roles I play. So that just the question why that was raised, right? I think the subject at hand is an important subject, and I know we are pressed for time. I think it is important subject because I know Bob and I did this, we were new and much has changed, in the subsequent months of that. And so it's all right to revisit decisions made. There's nothing unthwarted about revisiting, decisions made, especially when conditions have changed, right? Or things have not evolved as we had anticipated. So it welcomes discussion and revisiting kind of opportunities. I don't know if we have proof not to the substance of the matter. I don't know that we have proof that it's a deterrent. But I do know that we have proof that we need to evolve and mature more as a fund. And as we are evolving and maturing as a fund, we may not be prepared to offer all of the services for our partners that we make this time. So we could say, let's try that, let's amend or review our previous decision to see if it's more applicable to where we are today. I don't think there is anything unusual or out of the ordinary or puts into question any one of our roles in having that kind of discussion and revisiting our decisions. So I just want to be real clear about it.
The other thing I want to add is that I want us to be sure that we are not having conversations or making decisions that will look better in conflict with existing. We have an existing contract with the city that specifies our retainage fee. Contracts can be anything. The fund's general counsel is not present. Our representative, New York City Law Department is not present. There hasn't been a conversation about the details of our contract that would need to be amended in order to put forth another resolution for the board that would either change the administrative fee overall and or change who has the authority to approve a waiver or modification fee, because that is specified.
But as you said earlier, there's resolutions that we made. So a resolution could be written to amend what's in the contract. I mean, that's pro forma. That's not out of the ordinary. If there are board members that need to be present for that to happen, then let's have that discussion. I didn't know that we had a member of the law department. Be welcome to have them, review it. So if we're not able, we have a quorum, but if you believe that there are other entities that will add to the conversation, then let's do that. But that doesn't in any way negate the importance of revisiting decisions that may not be suitable for us at this time, or that may not serve our purposes in the way that we had originally intended, right? This is not, I don't believe in undermining of anybody's role or decisions or anything like that. I just think it's what organizations and businesses do. They revisit decisions that they've made and they modify, whether you need more staff, whether you need less staff, whether you need this, whether you need that. Decisions are made that way, whether your board of trustees should be paid, should they not be paid, all of those decisions organizations make on a regular basis. And some require more formality and contractual basis than others. But I don't think it negates the fact that a request was made, and a decision, and that which prompted the need for a discussion and a possible solution to that.
The request was made by our clients,
Mhm.
City of New York. The
You
request was
may, as the board, as the chair of the board of the fund,
yes, for the conversation.
for the adjustment of.
For the adjustment.
What prompted that request was a request from our clients at the City of New York to reduce or waive the application of the fee to grant dollars that are being used for programming. The request came in November to me, which according to the contract, that's the appropriate place to respond to the request. Saying did not produce because of the need for operating funds, because of the need to ensure we have proper staffing for the set of services that we're providing. And that request came again, and again. So when you talk about, like, there's something that is missing from the conversation, maybe there's something that isn't apparent. I think the background of this is not the first conversation we're having about the application of the administration fee. We've been doing it for months, in writing, by phone, in person. Request came to me, I said no, I gave a question of why, I gave it in writing, gave it verbally, phone, by text, in person. And the response is no on those specific requests. No, I'm giving permission.
And that's the request.
Yes, yes, yes.
I think that background is fine, and I think that. Which even begs the question that we should find if there's resolution to something. When someone makes a repeated request, you know, and the answer keeps being, the expected response. Or not the expected response, you know, it's like everybody's bringing in their value added to the conversation, or the conversation changes. Or modifies or moves it in some direction. That process is a normal process.
Well, I think it's a process, but it is, I think it's in conflict with the roles and responsibilities of the board versus the oversight.
Okay, I just want to be clear. I've been on boards for 20 years,
Yeah.
public boards, nonprofit boards. I have been in a position where I've been secretary to board. I have had to report to boards, public and nonprofit. And there is always a dialogue between the board members and the president, executive director, senior vice president, whoever that person is. That is, as Lorraine has said, like very eloquently and convincingly, that is like part of the organism of an organization. That is like the breathing and the blood. There's a give and take. And decisions that are made, revisited. You said some people voted for this. Yeah, I voted for this.
So
I didn't feel that, you know, I voted for it. I think I believed at the time there was more flexibility in the application. I don't have it in front of me right now, but you know, if people are saying there's an issue with this, I think the board should have a discussion about it, which is what we're doing now. I think, I just want to be really clear that I really reject, I take personally any suggestion that as a board member, mine and my colleagues having this discussion is a conflict of interest. This is very much in line with our role as board members. I want to be really clear about that because you have a brand, I have a brand. And one thing is, I've spent 20 years in city service and government service. I don't cross lines. I go to the conflicts of interest board. And I just want to be very, very clear. And I think suggesting that is not productive.
thank you.
Thank you.
Was.
I know we have the rooms being just for another meeting. Have to bring this up again, unless, and I know you suggested, Marcella, to bring the corporation council, right?
The general counsel.
Who are not part of the board, just to be clear.
Yes.
They're not part of the board, they're not necessarily.
But she could not come today. I mean, she should always come.
All right, so here's what I'm gonna suggest.
And I'm sorry, just, you know, also the law, which reviews all contracts.
It sounds like there seems to be, and it appears to me, I can only speak to myself, that there seems to be lots of issues that are being raised, that are collateral issues, and not to the heart of the matter. The purpose here was to have a discussion on the merits looking at a decision that was made before. And all this other collateral stuff is being raised. Do we have the ability to revisit that decision today with the people that are in this room today? Or I believe that we do, given the fact that we have quorum and it's a formal board meeting. But I don't want this to be like a contentious process. To me, this is real business management.
Mhm.
We made a decision. When the fund was at a particular level, things have changed at that level, we're looking at staffing, we're looking at growing, we didn't have a lot of bird's eye view of some of the contracts. The size of the grants that we can't take, the size of the grants we can't take. So we made a decision. And I was part of that decision. As a matter of fact, I was quite adamant about the importance of creating funds, not realizing, total disclosure, not realizing the impact of some of my colleagues, now as my commissioner hat, and would eventually happen to me, right, in our relationship. And so when I start thinking of 9% versus 12%, depending on the size of a contract, could be really considerable, for a particular grant. So
Can you say more about the
Yeah.
investigation?
say that,
Can you say more about the impact from your colleagues as commissioners?
when it's not easy for commissioners to get grants.
Yes,
I think
we had to call
yeah,
it.
Yeah. Anyway, it's not easy for commissioners to get grants, to apply for grants outside of our regular public service thing. When we do, we want to maximize that. And when you think of, and I keep thinking about other funds and the amount of administrative fees, it has to be a way that makes sense for commissioners so that we can optimize those private funds. Right?
I move to
Go on.
adjourn.
Thank you.
I think that-
Yep. Oh, there you go. She is.